Okay, dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be checking out the Chaotic Land Strategy Guide. And this is for the Ruler of Fear. Do remember that in Guild Raid you cannot reuse heroes. So today we'll be looking at a fresh set of teams. Okay, and hopefully this will help you. For my Theon, you need him for the Fear Resistance. He's actually on defense. Okay, if you are feeling a little paranoid, you can give skill up, no problem at all. But I will give him defense because I need him to tank a little bit more. I realized that the fear doesn't really go through even with him on defense, so I think it's fine. For Yonhee, she's on the crit set. For Serena, she is on the skill cooldown, and for Shay, she is on the skill up set. So that is also a reason why I didn't give Theon the skill up, because Shay needed it more. And you can see that from my team, it is pretty much like the battery team, whereby I'm going to just recycle outs over and over again, which is going to be the concept that you will also be using in future when there are other heroes coming out. Shay is going to be very important here, so she is someone that you really need to build out for this team. Over here, I decided to make a last minute change to a more defensive pet, because if you watch my live stream, I did manage to get a score of 2000 on the stream, and I somehow couldn't replicate that at all. Okay, but this was the closest that I got after a few hours of trying as well. Okay, and that is to use a defensive pet. In live stream, I was using my Rudy pet, so that could explain for a little bit more tankiness and defense, that my heroes were taking less damage overall, so I think that contributed quite a bit. So the Fear Dragon, basically, there is really nothing much to predict, except that with this team, all you need to do is control Theon, and the dragon will also, most of the time, okay, target Theon. And the dragon also has this butterfly wing attack that he uses pretty early in tier 1, so just take note of it. Don't run around too much with your Theon, because otherwise he'll get hit, but I'm pretty sure you can still tank it. Okay, so not to worry too much. After this, he will basically be trying to do a lot of knockback attacks. Okay, as you can see, he's also summoning a lot of those fear, those demons, I would say. I can't remember what they call it, but basically he will be summoning them at regular intervals, if I'm not wrong. And these spirits, once they touch you, they will be causing damage over time. Usually, not many players, okay, are going to be too concerned with that, because it's really difficult if you want to manually control everyone to avoid those spirits, right? So most of the time, you'll be just controlling Theon and luring the dragon's attention on Theon. Again, his attacks are pretty difficult to predict, I would say. Okay, I haven't really seen a regular time interval with regards to when he summons the spirits, but it could be a HP related mechanic, whereby he summons them at certain HP values. Sometimes he will also turn back and hit your other 3 heroes, but he will come back to Theon shortly after, so don't worry too much about it. What you do need to worry is this large fan-shaped breath that he uses. This one is pretty dangerous. Okay, it could kill and do a lot of heavy damage. I also haven't actually found a way or developed a fast enough reaction to flip over to my other heroes when he uses it on them. So when he uses this charging skill, try to rally all your heroes to the back of him, and you must rally them out, because he will be using this tail slap immediately after. Okay, so you cannot stay there. And then after that, try to align your heroes such that they are facing each other 180 degrees, and the dragon will, you know, just either be hitting Theon or be hitting the ones at the back. Okay, at this point, at end of tier 4, I think his damage is pretty high, so try your best to dodge in and out of his AoE attacks, especially the fan-shaped one. His knockbacks, his straight line knockback attacks are the most devastating. Okay, if you can just run off his circular attacks, I think that doesn't do too much damage to you, and that's still fine. Okay, but the ones that really hit hard are the straight line knockbacks. Yeah, here he summons more spirits. There will come a point whereby he summons spirits right at his footstep. Okay, I will try to show you guys later. Always remember to use your pet to heal when the need comes by. With this team, I would say the healing is pretty adequate. Okay, so if you are at a low health, you shouldn't have too much issue healing all the way back to full. Okay, provided your Shay and Serena, they are alive. Yeah, I would say that, you know, it's a little difficult to predict his skills, or rather there's really not much prediction needed. Okay, this is the one. This is the part whereby he summons these spirits right under him. The safest place you can hide is actually by going under his belly, okay, and out from the other side, because that's the only place the fear spirits are not gonna hit you. And yeah, that's how you can actually allow Theon to not get any damage in that part, and also allow Theon to retain his attack speed and movement speed. Yep, so unfortunately, I think of course there was some misplays along the way when I was recording this, but this was my best run after a few hours of testing and trying. So yeah, I think it can be better, but the damage I took was a little hard. Take note that Theon's ultimate is very key here, because his ultimate actually cleanses debuffs and also allows you to take less damage. Okay, so that is a very important ultimate for you to survive longer and also dish out more damage, because if I'm not wrong, the dragon does cast some skill effects, or rather the spirits. When you touch them, when they touch you, you're gonna have a reduced amount of attack or damage dealt. And for my masteries, these are my masteries. For level 25, it is in a mixed condition. If you want to allow Yonhee to do more damage, you can surely use the middle one, which increases ranged heroes attack. And of course, for the status effect resistance, you want them to be flipped down to increase your resistance against the fear. The divinity for this team is maxed out. Okay, again, if you are not done with your red pieces, focus on the red pieces first, and then the green ones, and then the blue ones. For the hero potentials of this team, 333 on Serena, 333 on Theon. Okay, Yonhee has maxed out attack, and for Shay, she has 3-3 on attack and defense, and about 66%, okay, 2/3 on HP, so that she technically heals a little more. Okay, so these are some of the investments that I put in for Shay. So by watching this, you will realize that you don't really need a range team for this. You can actually use a melee comp, and this is the team that I borrowed from my friend's account, Atriel. Thanks to him for lending the account, otherwise I would have no other variety to show you guys. For the melee comp, you can actually swap out Yonhee. You can, if you have Shane Plus, go ahead and use Shane Plus. You can use 2 DPSs instead, okay? And for the healer, you can actually use Serena, you can use Melissa Plus. Melissa Plus is actually pretty good in this raid as well. So the equipment stays the same. For Theon, it is basically on a defense set, and this is the one I was talking about. That was the debuff cleansing accessory, okay? It is very good for Theon because it gets rid of debuffs on him and also provides damage immunity for a little while, so he survives a little longer. And for the immortal accessories, if you do have, or revive ones, if you're using Karin here, you can give Karin that as well, because Karin is key in any PvE content. So having her around a little longer is going to make such a big difference to your entire battle. If you're using someone like Serena or Melissa Plus instead of Karin, then I don't think that is as necessary. You can give them something like damage receive reduced accessories or recovery accessories for their benefit. Okay. So same thing here, move Theon to the back. The problem with using a DPS comp here is that they will also teleport to the back of the dragon, and you may want to shift them out of the way, okay, after he uses the butterfly fan shade, because if you don't, then they'll be taking damage along with Theon, and I don't think that's what you want. So if possible, try to shift Miss Velvet all the way back again to the back, joining Karin and Yonhee. Yonhee is here for debuffs, by the way, in case you're wondering why I'm using Yonhee, because I don't have any other debuffer. If possible, okay, I want to save Rachel for another raid, so that's why I'm not using her here as demonstration.
Are you ready? Yeah!
So once you reach tier 2, towards the end of tier 2, he will start using this very big circular range skill that you need to dodge for sure, okay? The same things you need to look out for. Yeah, see, if you don't run out of the large fan breath attack, In time, your Theon will get damaged quite a bit. And that's not what you want.
I'll sing you a lullaby.
The idea of the dragon is basically he's trying to push you to the back, knock you back to touch the spirits that are at the back. Okay, so if possible, that's not what you want. Okay, so you want to try to avoid all his knockbacks and run in and out of his damage circles and line of fire.
Are you ready?
So here, remember always to rally your heroes out, but as you can see, I made that mistake of not doing that properly. Sometimes when you don't control your heroes for the extended period, someone like Miss Velvet is going to just teleport out of it, you know, and go somewhere else, because she can teleport right into the line of fire and she's gonna die.
It's time to say goodbye.
So at least the good thing with Karin here is you get to revive. Okay, if you are thinking of using another healer, then you won't enjoy that and your score will be much lower. That's why I said that Karin, you know, in every PvE content is so important. Well, of course, you can only use Karin once in guild raid, so you need to be careful where you want to use her. And somehow I just forgot to rally my heroes out of that semicircle and they all died. But at least Karin is alive. So as long as Karin is alive, I can heal back up to full. I can also potentially, you know, revive everyone again. As you can see, the ultimates here, they're definitely going to be much slower than what you saw in the first team comp because of Shay. So without Shay, you're gonna need a more stable approach because you are going to rely more on survivability than you are relying on damage. I'm still really trying to get Karin to revive everyone at this point because, you know, Karin is still at full health, so that's a good sign. Okay, and she's very near her ultimate. And yep, here I'm just worried for Theon because Theon is a little scary. You may want to take the more manual approach with this as well, because, you know, if you can manually wait for Karin to revive and then heal everyone back to full, I think that will help your run a lot more. But in this case, I wasn't doing that. I was actually just controlling Theon in and out. So controlling Karin could be better, whereby you just let Theon tank all the damage and attract the dragon's attentions, because you realize that for Theon, the dragon's attention is most of the time on him, right? You don't really need to do too much to him. As long as you keep him alive, that's good enough. So maybe controlling Karin manually will be a much better option. As you can see here, I managed to revive my whole team and heal them back quite a decent amount. Okay, so yeah, it's things like that that really allow you to get a much better score. And they're back to full now. As you can see, the damage immunity for Theon from the accessory is actually helping him a lot as well. Last 5 seconds. I think it was possible to make it to tier 6, but yeah, it is what it is. I died quite a bit, otherwise the score could have been a lot better. So this is quite a decent team if you want to use a more melee comp. The Masteries are pretty much the same as before, but if you're using 2 DPSs, then you want to switch level 25 to the first one. If you're using a mixed comp like this, then level 25 can be on the mixed one. Okay, and of course status effect resistance down. The Divinity for my friend's account is as follows. And finally, his potentials on the heroes will be as such. Okay, for Karin, 60%, 66%, 2/3 on all, almost all stats. For Miss Velvet, 60, 2/3 on attack. For Theon, 333, and for Yonhee, also about 60%, 2/3 on attack. So that's all I have for this video. I hope it helped, and I hope that by showing you guys two teams, you have a better idea of how you can play it up. So I think that is the main point that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so big shout out to my channel members Tom Gonzalo, Jeremy, Fahas, Reggie, Yamaki, and Bilal for their support. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much and see you.